This car is so safe, so bulletproof, that they almost never break down. And we'll be talking about it later. But before we get there, let's cover the mistakes that cause thousands of accidents every single day. Because even the best car in the world can't save you if you're making these deadly errors. These are the 16 deadly driving mistakes that turn a regular drive into a nightmare. And some of them, most drivers don't even realize they're doing them. Speeding like it's a video game. Everyone thinks they're the exception. I can handle 90 in a 60. But the truth? Speeding is the #1 factor in fatal crashes worldwide. The faster you go, the less time you have to react. That yellow light you think you'll beat? The car pulling out from a side street? You've just cut your reaction time in half. And even if you survive the hit, your insurance won't. The cost skyrockets, and so does your chance of being sued. But if you think speed is the only dangerous overconfidence move, wait until we get to another mistake almost every good driver swears they'd never make. Tailgating like you're in a rush hour sandwich. Ever ride someone's bumper thinking it'll make them move faster? It doesn't. It just makes your crash inevitable. At 60 miles per hour, you need at least 3 seconds of space. Less than that, and if the driver ahead slams the brakes, you're toast. And don't even think ABS will save you. It reduces lockups, not physics. Worst part? Tailgating doesn't just wreck cars. It wrecks tempers. Road rage often starts with one impatient driver sitting too close, running red lights. You'd be shocked how many people gun it when the light flips. Maybe you're late, maybe you're gambling on that last yellow. But every year, thousands die because someone couldn't wait 60 more seconds. The deadliest part? The collisions are almost always T-bones. That means one car smashes into the side of another, right where passengers are least protected. And speaking of intersections, there's another mistake drivers make at stop signs that's just as deadly. Rolling through stop signs. You know that quick California stop? Slowing but never actually stopping? Yeah, it slays. Pedestrians, cyclists, even other cars count on you fully stopping to judge when it's safe. Skip that 1-second pause, and you turn into a moving hazard. People love to blame blind spots, but in reality, it's often just laziness. And speaking of laziness, nothing screams careless like the next mistake. Driving distracted. Phones, food, fiddling with playlists. It only takes 3 seconds of looking away. At highway speed, that's a football field, traveled blind. People convince themselves they're just checking quickly, but the brain can't multitask like that. Texting while driving? It increases crash risk 23 times. That's worse odds than drunk driving. But if you're at home and not on the road, you might find yourself watching videos like these. And if you like them, make sure you subscribe, as 99% of you aren't subscribed. And if you think sober drivers are always safer, let's talk about the next big slayer. Driving under the influence. This is the most obvious one, but still one of the most common. Alcohol, substances, even prescription meds. They mess with reaction time, blur your vision, and make you take risks you'd normally avoid. "I've only had a couple" is the biggest lie drivers tell themselves. Even a blood alcohol content under the legal limit doubles your chance of an accident. And what's terrifying? Some people actually combine this mistake with the next one, driving while drowsy. Think falling asleep at the wheel only happens on long-haul trucking runs? Wrong. Even a late-night drive home after work can put you in danger. Microsleeps last just a few seconds, but that's enough to drift into oncoming traffic or off the road. Driving drowsy can be just as bad as driving drunk. Yet people ignore the warning signs. Heavy eyelids, yawning, missing exits. And if you're guilty of this, you'll probably recognize the next mistake too. Ignoring seatbelts. It's crazy this still has to be said, but people still think it's just a quick drive, or "I'm safer without it." Wrong. Seatbelts cut your chance of dying in a crash by almost half. Without one, even a 30 miles per hour impact can launch you through the windshield. Airbags? They're designed to work with seatbelts, not replace them. The scary part? Sometimes it's the passengers, not the driver, who pay the price. Improper lane changes. Swerving without signaling. Changing lanes mid-turn. Cutting across multiple lanes to catch an exit. It's chaos, and it leads to sideswipe accidents, one of the most common crash types. Blinkers exist for a reason. 2 seconds of courtesy can prevent 2 months of repair bills. And the worst offenders? Drivers who think they can weave through traffic like it's a racing game. But they're not the only ones causing havoc. Some drivers are guilty of the exact opposite problem. Driving too slow in the fast lane. Yes, going too slow can be just as dangerous as speeding. Ever seen a driver hogging the left lane at 10 under the limit? Cars pile up, frustration builds, and suddenly you've got people swerving dangerously just to get around. Left lanes are for passing. If you're cruising, move right. Simple as that. But speaking of the left lane, not checking blind spots. Mirrors are helpful, but they don't show everything. Every car has blind zones big enough to hide another vehicle. That quick shoulder check before merging or changing lanes, it's the difference between a clean drive and a side impact crash. Motorcycle riders know this better than anyone because they're the ones who disappear in those blind spots the most. And if you think blind spots are a problem, wait until we cover the mistake that wrecks people even when the road looks clear. Overtaking on blind curves or hills. It looks empty ahead until a truck barrels over the hilltop. Passing when you can't see is basically gambling with lives. Even if you're right 99 times out of 100, that one time you're wrong, it's game over. And speaking of hills, there's another mistake drivers make on slopes that's equally dangerous. Riding the brakes downhill. Going down a steep slope and keeping your foot glued to the brake pedal feels safe, but it's not. It overheats your brakes until they fade, and suddenly they stop working when you need them most. The right way? Use engine braking. Shift down and let the gears do the work. Truckers know this rule well, because losing brakes on a hill in a heavy rig is a death sentence. And since we're talking about vehicle control, overcorrecting after drifting off the road. You feel the rumble strip, panic, and yank the wheel back too hard. Suddenly you're fishtailing across lanes. This single mistake causes countless rollovers. The safer move? Stay calm, ease off the gas, and gently guide yourself back. It's not about strength, it's about control. And control is also what most drivers lose when they make this next mistake. Driving in bad weather like it's a sunny day. Rain cuts grip in half. Fog blinds you. Snow and ice? They turn the road into a skating rink. Yet people drive like nothing's changed. High beams in fog? They reflect back. Bald tires in rain? Hydroplane city. The safest drivers adapt. Slower speeds, lights on, safe distances. And if you're thinking weather isn't that big a deal, wait until you hear about the mistake that can actually blow up your car. Skipping car maintenance. That little check engine light you've been ignoring? It could be the start of a deadly breakdown. Bald tires double your stopping distance. Worn brakes fail in emergencies. Old oil can seize an engine at highway speed. Accidents aren't always driver error. Sometimes they're the result of neglect. And here's the kicker. The car that's so safe, so tough it almost never breaks down. It only stays that way because the owners keep up with maintenance. Overconfidence behind the wheel. This is the silent slayer. Thinking you're better than average. Believing crashes happen to other people. It's why skilled drivers speed, text, and skip precautions they assume they can handle it. The truth? Nobody's immune. Even pros make mistakes. Humility keeps you alive on the road. Confidence without caution? That's the last mistake many drivers ever make. But if you like American cars, you might know that some brands who were once extremely popular randomly disappeared. This is such a common issue, I had to make a full video on the many brands that no longer exist, and you can watch that next by clicking the video on screen. See you in the next one.